Hey everybody, it's Overdrive Radio host Todd Dills back with another midweek special in our series of Partners in Business Shorts, culled from the extensive owner-operator business-focused talk we hosted at the Mid-America Trucking Show last month. This episode extends from the first couple, expanding on the necessity of close business analysis in near real time to keep tabs on costs and profits, the startup necessity of stocking that pantry and doubling down on saving when markets are hot for the lean times. We've been in one of those, by some estimates, going on 2 years at this point. Voices you'll hear here, in order of appearance, are that of our moderator, the great Eric Harley of Red Eye Radio, followed by myself, then ATBS Vice President Mike Hosted, and Overdrive contributor and longtime business coach Gary Buchs. The subject here is work-life balance of a fashion, though that term, in my view, doesn't do a lot for a small business owner, for whom these two elements, work and life, are virtually inseparable. Nonetheless, there's plenty owners can do to set themselves up for life at home with the work, particularly as it relates to building long-term business with solid customer relationships. Here's Eric Harley teeing things up for the Partners in Business Roundtable. The educational program this year is sponsored by the great folks at the Rush Truck Center's dealer network, who share our vision for your success. So here we go.
One of the things that Mike touched on was, the word vacation. Mm-hmm. And a lot of owner-operators might scoff and say, well, what is a vacation? But honestly, that has to be part of your business, because you have to ask yourself, why is it that you're in business? What is it you're trying to build out for yourself in your personal life? Because those personal goals are just as important as your business goals, and that is a part of your business.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about, they use the phrase work-life balance, right?
Right.
And a lot of the guys that have been around the business a long time, they complain about all the new drivers. They just want to be home all the time, and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, the thing there is that they probably wanted this. In some degree or another, they got into business as an owner, as an owner operator, because they wanted the same thing. They just looked at it a different way, and the reality for them is a little bit different than the reality is for the younger generation today. But
right.
The Partners in Business book this year has an update in it that sort of speaks exactly to what you're saying there, Eric, which is that all the talk about work-life balance, it kind of separates the two, but really, like, when you're in business for yourself, like, your life is part of the business,
Yeah,
and it's like, there's ways that you can build the business to just make the outcomes there to the better advantage,
right.
rather than just going out and running all 48 all the time, never coming home and stuff like that,
and doing the day-to-day thing.
And just building the routines that will get you home, building the customers that will get you home, building relationships with the brokers that are going to get you back to where you need to be, and building the business for maximum profitability. That ultimately, that's the number one thing that's going to help you and your family succeed,
sure,
and live a happy life, I think.
Right.
So
yeah. And Mike, Todd touches on something very important too: building that relationship with your customers, with everyone you're doing business with along the way, because in today's world, probably now more than ever, businesses need to know they can rely on these other businesses that they partner with. How crucial is that to that bottom line? And have you guys at ATBS ever broken down these folks have been in business with other companies and had those partnerships in place for a long time, and there is a direct correlation to that success? Have you guys seen that?
Any relationship is very important in a business ownership. I mean, you think about people that have their own operating authority, their relationships with their brokers, with their agents, with the people that they book freight with. Always very important. You never burn a bridge in the trucking industry. Their relationship with ATBS, their business service provider, to look at their numbers, to not be scared, as Gary alluded to look at their numbers, to ask questions, to make decisions. I mean, you have to leverage everything, especially in these difficult times, like right now, You got to have those relationships in place, and you have to, maintain them. You have to keep pushing them forward. If you don't, and you're bouncing around, right now we're seeing turnover really high. If you're bouncing around and you're changing relationships and things like that, it's costly, and it's putting a lot of people out of business right now.
Yeah. Gary, we'll let you expand on that, because there is that balance. I mean, obviously you want those long-term relationships. You want to maintain those. But along the way, that continued success or the expansion of a business also requires developing those new relationships along the way, those new partnerships along the way. Expand on that for us and how you've applied that over the years.
What I see is, in my own business and history, your personality has a lot to do with your ability to do that. Are you an outgoing person that's comfortable walking into a room of strangers and saying, "Hi, my name's Gary.
Yeah.
And this is what I do. How can I help you?"
Right.
And one of the things I coach owners on is their behaviors, how they dress, how they walk, how they talk. When they go into a customer, a good example, and they've all seen this, where they go in and everybody's in a hostile mood at the delivery, and they're all fired up, and they're screaming and yelling. I'm like, "So what do you do when you walk up to the window?" And they're like, "I'm just PO'd right away before I get to the window." I said, "Wrong." I said, "You walk up there very calmly, you hand them your business card, say, 'I'm the owner of the truck, the owner of the business. Just let me know how I can help you.'"
Right. Yeah.
And you would be amazed at how that turns the tide in your favor. Not that you're trying to hurt other owners,
right?
But you're being the professional. You're being the adult in the room.
Yeah.
And you would be surprised how many times that little bit of just check the attitude at the door will help people.
Yeah, because you're also offering solutions. What I look for when someone is not intimidated by a difficult situation, but yet tends to stand up to it and takes it on as a challenge, that tells me that is a person I can rely on for solutions. And in business, that's everything.
With today's technology with phones, and a lot of people are just relying on all these, tracking and everything. And if you're an owner-operator, one strong suggestion is when you take a rate con, in spite of what a broker or someone might say, you try and call every customer before you even deadhead and say, "Hey, this is Gary with, the company, and I'm coming to pick up this load number or whatever, and I want to make sure we're both on the same page, time, commodity, weight, and so on." You'd be amazed at how much that helps, because I've had it happen where they've said, "You got to have an appointment." "Well, I need to make an appointment. Can I do that?" "No, you can't do that. Somebody else." And I'm like, so I call the people back and I'm like, "You didn't provide complete and accurate. I may not be able to do this." And so you have to be the boss. But call those customers, because they might say, "We got 10 trucks coming at 7:00. If you get here at 5, we'll knock you out in a half hour. If you want to wait because of your log, if you want to come like at 11:30, we'll get you out of here in an hour." And manage those hours ahead of time, be more efficient. It's those little things, and those customers will respect you.
Right.
They will request you in the future.
Regular Overdrive Radio listeners may have caught part 2 of my talk with California headquartered small fleet owner Surinder Gill earlier this week. If you didn't, find a link to it in the show notes. Gill spoke to some of the things Gary Buchs talked about there, but from an office-bound small fleet owner's perspective. Garnering respect from the customer over time, solidifying those relationships so that you don't have to turn to dime a dozen broker loads on the board so often. It's the little things, day in, day out, that probably serve the best chance for getting you there. There's more to chew on in that regard in past editions of this podcast short series. Track back through the Partners in Business series from the Red Eye Radio Roundtables this year, and last, at Matt's, via a YouTube playlist you'll find embedded in the post that houses this podcast for May 1st, 2024. Keep tuned, too, for the next one wherever you're listening. Overdrive Radio, the primary series, sponsored by House Products, is on Spotify and SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, and most any listening platform. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and you can find me and all of our episodes via overdriveonline.com/overdrive-radio. This special edition in the long-running Partners in Business program is sponsored by Rush Truck Centers, the 140-plus dealer location network for sales, service, and so much more. Find them at rushtruckcenters.com. You can visit overdriveonline.com/PIB to download the 2024 updated Partners in Business book and learn plenty more from our online series there too, about so many topics germane to trucking as an owner-operator. It's overdriveonline.com/PIB. We'll see you next time.